Good evening, everyone. I'm Detective Rayon. I've been working in the police force for over 15 years.
And I'm Officer Layla. I've been partnered with Detective Rayon for the past 3 years. We've solved many cases together.
We have. And tonight, we're continuing the story we started last time. The story of the old clock.
Yes. In Part 1, we went to the Henderson mansion. We met Mrs. Evelyn Henderson, the last surviving member of that wealthy family.
We found the old grandfather clock that had been silent for 50 years, and we heard the crying coming from inside it.
We found a secret room behind the clock, and inside that room, we found Eleanor Henderson's diary, the daughter who disappeared 50 years ago.
That diary told us a terrible story. Eleanor was trapped inside the clock by her own father. He locked her there because she was going to reveal the family secrets.
And we also found that the clock was connected to an underground prison, a dungeon where the Hendersons kept their secrets hidden.
But we also found a letter from Eleanor. She said she had escaped. She had run away to start a new life.
So we knew she was alive, but we didn't know where she went. That's where Part 1 ended.
Now we're going to continue the investigation. We're going to find out what really happened to Eleanor, and we're going to find out what other secrets the Henderson family was hiding.
So what happened next, after you found that letter?
I decided to search the underground prison more carefully. I thought there might be more clues down there.
Was it safe? That place sounded very dangerous.
I was careful. I took a flashlight, a notebook, and my phone. I told my partner where I was going.
What did you find?
I went down the stairs. The basement was cold and damp. The walls were made of stone. It felt like a medieval dungeon.
That sounds terrifying.
It was, but I kept going. I wanted to find answers. I walked through several rooms. Some had old furniture. Some had old boxes. One room had a table with papers scattered everywhere.
What were the papers?
They were old letters, business documents, photos. Some of them were very old, dating back over 100 years.
Over 100 years? So the Henderson family had been hiding secrets for generations.
Yes, that's what I discovered. The Henderson family was not just wealthy, they were criminals.
Criminals? What did they do?
They were involved in smuggling. They brought illegal goods into the country. They paid off officials. They threatened anyone who tried to expose them.
Amazing. So the family fortune was built on crime?
Yes, and they kept their secrets hidden for generations. They trapped anyone who knew too much.
Horrified. Trapped them? Like Eleanor?
Yes. The prison in the basement was used for that purpose. It was a place to silence people, a place to make them disappear.
That's terrible. How could a family do that?
Greed, power, fear. It's a dark combination.
So did you find anything else in that room?
Yes, I found a hidden safe. It was behind a loose stone in the wall.
A safe? What was inside?
It was full of documents, names, dates, photos of people who had been trapped, and there was a list of all the family's crimes.
A list of crimes? They actually kept a record?
Yes, they were arrogant. They thought they would never be caught, so they kept records of everything.
Did Eleanor's name appear on that list?
Yes, Eleanor's name was on the list. It said, Eleanor Henderson, trapped in the clock, escaped.
Relieved. At least she escaped.
Yes, but the list also had many other names, people who were not so lucky.
Did you investigate those names?
I did. I spent months researching. I visited archives. I talked to relatives. I tried to find out what happened to those people.
And what did you find?
I continued. Some of them had died in the prison. Others had been released. But many of them were never found. They had simply vanished.
That's heartbreaking.
It was. The Henderson family had destroyed many lives, all for money and power.
So what did you do with all this evidence?
I took it to my superiors. They launched a full investigation. They looked into the Henderson family's history.
And what did they find?
They found that the Henderson family had been involved in illegal activities for over 100 years. There was enough evidence to charge them with many crimes.
But the family was gone. Mrs. Henderson was the only one left.
Yes, so we couldn't bring them to justice, but we could expose the truth.
Was Mrs. Henderson involved in the crimes?
I don't think so. She was a victim too. She lived with the guilt of knowing what her family had done.
That's a heavy burden to carry.
It was. She lived alone in that big house for 50 years. She couldn't escape the memories.
Did she know about the prison?
I think she did, but she was too afraid to do anything. She feared the family secrets would destroy her too.
So she stayed silent?
Yes, until the clock started ticking again. Then she knew she had to tell someone.
Do you think the clock started ticking because Eleanor was still alive?
I don't know, but I think it was a sign that the truth was finally going to come out.
So did you ever find Eleanor? Did you find out where she went?
That's the next part of the story, and it's the most surprising part.
Eager. What happened?
I spent a long time searching for Eleanor. I looked at immigration records, I looked at marriage records, I looked at death records.
And did you find anything?
Yes, I found a record of a woman with Eleanor's name. She had emigrated to the United States.
America? She went to America?
Yes, she had changed her name. She had started a new life. She had a family. She had children.
So she was alive? She lived a full life?
Yes, she did. She became a teacher. She married a kind man. She had 3 children.
That's wonderful news.
It was. I was so happy when I found out. I knew she had escaped, but I didn't know if she had survived.
Did you ever meet her?
No, she passed away a few years before I started my investigation.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It was sad, but I did meet her children. I traveled to America to meet them.
You met her children? What were they like?
They were wonderful. They were kind and welcoming. They told me stories about their mother. She was a happy person. She loved her family. She was a good teacher.
Did they know about her past?
No, Eleanor never told anyone about her past. She wanted to leave it all behind.
So she started a new life.
Yes, she built a new identity. She made a new family. She left the Henderson secrets behind.
So the mystery of Eleanor's disappearance was solved?
Yes, and it brought some peace to Mrs. Henderson before she died.
That's a bittersweet ending.
It is, but the case was not completely closed. There was still the question of the other victims.
Did you ever find out what happened to them?
I tried. I worked on the case for many years. I wanted to give their families closure.
And did you?
Some of them, but many cases remained unsolved. The Henderson family had been very thorough in their crimes.
That's terrible.
It is, but I never gave up. I kept investigating. I kept looking for answers.
And what happened to the Henderson mansion?
It was sold. The new owners restored it. They turned it into a museum.
A museum? That's unexpected.
I thought so too, but it was a good way to preserve the history and to tell the truth about the Henderson family.
Is the clock still there?
Yes, the clock is still in the hallway, but it's silent now. It stopped ticking after Mrs. Henderson died.
Maybe it was connected to her.
Maybe. It's a mystery that will never be solved.
So the case of the old clock is finally closed?
Yes, it took many years, but we found the truth, and we brought peace to those who had been hurt.
Thank you for sharing this story with us, Detective Ryan.
Thank you for listening.
That's the end of Part 1 of The Secret of the Old Clock, Part 2. Join us next time for the final part.
Goodbye, and stay safe. Always remember, the truth will always find a way to come out.